Have you ever felt like life pauses for a moment, like everything around you goes quiet, right before something inside you breaks? You can't explain it, but you feel it. That heavy stillness, that ache that whispers something has to change. Maybe that's why you're here. Not by accident, but because some part of you knows this message isn't random. It's meant for you. Because lately, you've been running on empty, smiling when you don't mean it, trying to hold everything together while no one even notices how close you are to falling apart. You've convinced yourself to keep going, to stay strong, but deep down you're tired of pretending. Strength feels anything like peace. There's a kind of exhaustion that sleep can't fix, the kind that sits in your chest like a quiet storm, too tired to cry, too numb to care, but too alive to quit. You've been here before, haven't you? Stuck in that strange space between wanting to disappear and wishing someone would finally see you. But here's the truth. This isn't your breaking point. It's your threshold. The space between who you were and who you're about to become. You're not lost. You're being remade. Life has a cruel way of stripping us bare just before it rebuilds us. It takes the things we thought we couldn't live without, people, plans, illusions, and shatters them in front of us. It hurts because it's supposed to. Pain isn't punishment, it's transformation. It's the universe's way of saying, you've outgrown this version of yourself. The walls that feel like they're closing in. They're not trapping you. They're pushing you toward the door you were too afraid to open. You've been told to trust the process. But how can you trust something that's broken you more than once? How can you believe in a plan that feels like chaos? You can't see it yet, but everything that fell apart wasn't meant to destroy you. It was meant to reveal you. Every person who left taught you what loyalty really means. Every failure that humiliated you showed you where your real strength begins. Every disappointment was a redirection in disguise. Life doesn't take without purpose. It clears space for what's coming, and what's coming is different. Because this time, you're not chasing what broke you before. You're not begging for love that costs your peace, or validation that drains your worth. You're done living small so others can feel comfortable. You've reached the edge, and instead of falling, you're about to rise. Not because someone saved you, but because you finally realize no one's coming to. You are the rescue. You are the turning point. This video found you for a reason. Maybe you've been searching for something to remind you that it's not too late to start again, that it's okay to let go of the weight you've been carrying. You don't have to know where you're going. You just have to decide you're not staying where you are. The path forward doesn't begin with clarity. It begins with courage. One breath, one choice. One quiet decision to stop shrinking and start showing up for yourself. Every storm you've survived has rewritten your DNA. You've been tempered by pain, hardened by truth, softened by empathy. You've already walked through fires that would have turned others to ash. So no, this isn't the end. This is the moment everything inside you begins to align. The moment you stop asking, why me? And start saying, watch me. Don't underestimate what's about to rise from within you. The same heart that was once breaking is now rebuilding. The same soul that once begged for light has become the light. You don't need to have it all figured out. You just need to remember that this moment isn't here to break you. It's here to wake you. So listen closely. Life doesn't send signs when you're comfortable. It sends them when you're ready. That's why you're hearing this now. Because the part of you that's been silent, buried under fear and doubt, is finally stirring. You're not lost. You're being called higher. And this time, you'll answer. You've been through too much to go back now. You've fought battles no one knows about. You've carried the weight of silence, the kind that twists in your chest when no one sees how hard you're trying. But this is where everything changes. This is where the pain you thought would destroy you becomes the fire that forges you. You've already survived the hardest parts. What's coming next isn't punishment, it's proof that you were meant to rise through it. Every scar, every sleepless night, every tear you thought was wasted was never wasted at all. It was preparation. You were being built in the dark for the moment the light would finally return. You might still doubt it. You might still think you're too far gone, too late, too broken. But listen, broken doesn't mean finished. Broken means open. It means the old shell cracked so something stronger could emerge. The world wants you to believe you need to have it all figured out before you move, but that's a lie. The truth is, movement creates clarity. The act of stepping forward, even when you can't see the whole path, reshapes who you are. Waiting for certainty is how people stay stuck. But courage is born when you walk anyway. This moment right now, this exact breath, is your chance to decide that fear won't run your life anymore. You've been surviving long enough. You've been hiding behind potential, behind maybe later, behind when I'm ready. But there is no later. There is no perfect moment waiting down the road. There's only now. The people who change their lives don't do it because they're fearless. They do it because they're tired of what fear costs them. And if you're still here, listening, it's because part of you knows that staying the same will hurt more than letting go ever could. You've been shrinking for too long, trying to fit into spaces that were never made for your growth. You dimmed your own light so others wouldn't feel small around you. You apologized for your strength. You convinced yourself that being quiet was safer than being seen. But the world doesn't need your silence. It needs your fire. It needs your truth. You are not here to blend in. You're here to break patterns, to challenge comfort, to become the person your past self prayed you'd be. Every time you doubted your worth, life was waiting for this moment, for you to finally see it yourself. You don't need permission to start again. You don't need approval to rise. The door you've been waiting for has been open the whole time. You just have to walk through it. Yes, it will be uncomfortable. Yes, it will stretch you. But you've done harder things before. Remember the nights you thought you wouldn't make it through, yet somehow you did? That wasn't luck. That was resilience. And it's still in you, stronger than ever. This isn't about chasing perfection or proving yourself to anyone. It's about remembering that your existence alone is proof of possibility. You are living evidence that survival can turn into strength, that pain can turn into purpose. Every day you choose to keep going, you're rewriting your story. You're showing the world what transformation looks like in real time. The same hands that once trembled in fear will soon build the life you used to only dream about. So stop waiting for a sign. The sign is your heartbeat. The fact that you're still breathing means your purpose isn't done with you yet. You are not here to merely exist. You are here to live, to love louder, to stand taller, to become unshakable. There's power in your pain, but there's freedom in your decision to rise above it. Right now, you're standing on sacred ground, the space between who you were and who you're becoming. Don't turn back. Don't question if you're ready. You are. Everything inside you has been preparing for this. The doubts, the heartbreak, the failures, they all led you here. This is the moment where you stop being defined by what happened to you and start being defined by what you decide to do next. You're not a victim of your story, you're the author of it. And the next chapter begins the second you choose to rise. There comes a moment when you realize no one is coming to save you. And that realization either breaks you or it builds you. The truth is, no one's meant to rescue you. Because if they did, they'd own your strength. This is your awakening, the moment you stop waiting and start creating. Everything you've lost, every person who walked away, every failure that left you questioning your worth, it all carved out the space for what's about to be built. The pain you've been running from isn't your enemy. It's your blueprint. It's been sculpting you quietly, teaching you who you're not so you can finally see who you are. You've been living half asleep, hoping things would change while holding on to what's been keeping you small. But life doesn't reward hesitation. It rewards movement. It rewards the ones who show up even when they're terrified. Because courage isn't loud. It's quiet. It's the voice that whispers, "Try again," after failure. It's standing in the fire of your own fear and realizing you're not burning. You're being refined. The world doesn't belong to those who wait for the right time. It belongs to those who make time right now. You've been conditioned to think strength means never breaking, but real strength is what happens after the breaking. When everything shatters and you still decide to rebuild, that's power. That's growth. The people who seem unshakable aren't the ones who never fell. They're the ones who got back up when it hurt the most. And that's exactly what you're doing now. Every day you keep going, you're proving to yourself that resilience isn't a trait. It's a choice you make every morning when you refuse to give up. Stop waiting for the world to give you permission to become who you already are. You don't need validation to begin. You don't need a guarantee that it will work. You just need to start, because the pain of staying stuck will always be heavier than the fear of trying. You've spent enough time waiting for signs, hoping for perfect timing, wishing for someone to believe in you. But maybe all this time, the universe was waiting for you to believe first. You can't keep living your life halfway, pretending you don't care when you do, pretending you're fine when you're breaking inside. You owe it to yourself to stop hiding from your potential. The life you want isn't out of reach. It's on the other side of discomfort, on the other side of the decision to finally stop settling. You are one decision away from everything shifting, one act of courage away from the life you've imagined, one moment of saying enough and meaning it. There's a fire inside you that's been whispering under all the noise. You've heard it before, in the quiet moments when you wanted to give up, but something in you refused. That's not coincidence. That's your soul reminding you who you are. You weren't made to drift through life. You were made to impact it. And the longer you ignore that voice, the louder it gets. It will haunt you until you listen. Because your purpose doesn't disappear when you lose faith. It waits for you to remember. So remember this. The life you're chasing is built on decisions made in moments like this. Not when things are easy, but when everything feels uncertain. This is the test of faith. Not in something outside of you, but in yourself. You've survived storms that should have broken you. You've walked through nights darker than most will ever understand. You've already done the impossible just by still being here. So stop doubting if you're capable. You already are. And when that voice of fear creeps in, telling you it's too late, that you've missed your chance, silence it with truth. It's not too late. It never was. You are not behind. You are being aligned. Life isn't punishing you, it's preparing you. The very weight that feels like it's crushing you now will soon become the strength that carries you. You are being rebuilt in real time, and when you rise this time, you won't rise fragile. You'll rise unshakable. So take this as your moment. The one where everything changes, not because something magical happens, but because you finally decide to stop waiting for someday. This is it. The beginning of your return, the rise after the fall, the version of you that's coming will terrify the one that doubted. Don't run from this process, run toward it, because everything you've prayed for is waiting on the other side of your decision to rise. There will come a day when everything inside you screams to quit, when your mind tells you it's pointless, when your heart feels too heavy to keep beating with purpose. But that's the exact moment you must keep going. Because right before life gives you a breakthrough, it tests your belief in yourself. It shakes your foundation to see if you're serious about building something real. Most people quit at the edge of transformation. They give up one moment before the tide turns. Don't be one of them. The pain you're feeling now isn't the end, it's labor. You're giving birth to a new version of yourself, and every ounce of discomfort is proof that something powerful is being born through you. You've been told to stay strong, but strength doesn't mean never bending. It means bending and still standing tall. It means crying without shame, falling without surrender. The world doesn't respect those who never fail. It respects those who fail and rise anyway. Every time you stand back up, you tell the universe, I'm not done yet. And that energy changes everything. You start to attract opportunities that match your persistence. You start to become magnetic, not because you're lucky, but because you're aligned with growth. Can't rebuild your life from the surface. You have to dig deep. You have to confront the lies you've believed about yourself. The ones that told you you're not enough, not capable, not worthy. Those lies have shaped how you see the world. But they are not truth, they are scars. And scars only prove one thing: you healed, you overcame. You survived what tried to destroy you. The fact that you're still here, still searching for meaning, still wanting to rise, means the fire inside you refused to die. That's not weakness. That's divine strength disguised as endurance. Stop waiting for the perfect moment to start. Stop waiting for someone to tell you you're ready. No one is ever ready for the life they're destined for. They step into it scared, uncertain, but determined. And that's what makes them unstoppable. Every great transformation begins with a single act of defiance, the refusal to stay where you are. The moment you stop running from fear and start facing it, everything changes. Fear loses its grip. Doubt starts to fade. Because clarity is born in movement, not in waiting. The world needs you to rise, not because it owes you anything, but because your rise will wake others. Your healing will become someone else's hope. The way you walk through your fire will show others that their pain has purpose too. You are not just rebuilding yourself. You're lighting the way for others who are lost in their own storms. That's why quitting isn't an option. Too many people need the version of you that refuses to stay broken. You've been underestimating what you carry inside you. You think you're fighting to get back to who you were before everything fell apart, but that person is gone. And that's a good thing. You're not meant to go back. You're meant to evolve. You're meant to create something so much greater than what you lost. The pain wasn't punishment, it was preparation. It stripped you of illusions and left you raw, real, and ready for truth. You've been refined by your struggle. And now, you rise not from ego, but from understanding. Not to prove, but to become. So don't waste another second doubting your own power. You've already walked through storms that others couldn't survive. You've been at rock bottom and discovered that even there your spirit didn't die. That resilience is your weapon. That persistence is your light. Every time you choose to move forward, even just 1 inch, you reclaim your story. You declare to every wound, every betrayal, every failure, you didn't win. I did. This is your reminder. The version of you that's emerging isn't fragile. It's fierce. It's fearless. It's free. You've been through too much to play small anymore. The universe didn't bring you this far just to stop now. So stand tall. Look forward. Step into the unknown with faith that you are guided. Because you are. And one day soon, you'll look back on this moment and realize it wasn't the end of your story. It was the beginning of everything you were always meant to become. You have no idea how close you are to the life you've been praying for. It's not miles away, it's inches. But those inches demand everything you've got. They demand consistency when you're exhausted, faith when you can't see results, and belief when the world gives you every reason to doubt. That's why most people never make it. They want transformation without endurance. But real change isn't comfortable. It's confrontation. It's you versus your excuses, your fears, your comfort zone. And the one who wins that war, they don't just change their life, they change their entire future. You have to stop negotiating with the parts of you that want to stay safe. Safe doesn't grow you. Safe doesn't fulfill you. Safe keeps you trapped in the same loop, waiting for someone else to give you permission to rise. But no one's coming. And that's not something to fear. It's freedom. Because once you stop waiting, you start moving. Once you take responsibility for your own story, everything shifts. You realize you were never powerless. You were just distracted by doubt. You don't need perfect timing. You need momentum. You don't need guarantees. You need courage. Every person who ever created something extraordinary started from uncertainty. They didn't know how it would work. They just refused to let fear dictate their decisions. And that's what you have to do now. Refuse to let fear make your choices for you, because fear will keep you small, polite, unseen. But courage makes you unstoppable. There's a moment in every journey when you face the edge, the point where you've given everything, but the reward hasn't shown up yet. That's the breaking point most people can't survive. They give up, not because they're weak, but because they don't realize how close they were. They quit right before the breakthrough, right before the universe moves. You can't afford to be that person. You've come too far. You've endured too much. You've bled for this growth. Don't let temporary discomfort rob you of permanent transformation. Every second you stay committed to the path, the energy around you shifts. People start noticing. Opportunities start appearing. You begin to attract things that match your persistence. Because the universe doesn't respond to wishes, it responds to action. And every time you act in faith, even when you're terrified, you send a signal, I'm ready. That signal is what unlocks everything. Stop telling yourself you'll start when you feel ready. Ready is a lie. No one ever feels ready to become who they're meant to be. You just start. You take the leap even if your legs shake. You speak the truth even if your voice cracks. You move forward even if the fear screams louder than the faith. Because the ones who keep moving through fear become the ones who inspire others to do the same. You've been through storms that could have destroyed you, and yet here you are. That alone makes you dangerous. Because someone who's walked through fire and still stands is someone who can't be stopped. You've seen what pain can do, but now it's time to see what power can do. You've spent enough time surviving. It's time to start living. Not halfway, not cautiously, fully, boldly, loudly. Because the world needs what you carry, the strength that came from your suffering, the wisdom that came from your wounds, the fire that came from your fight. So stop waiting for the perfect conditions. They don't exist. Start where you are, with what you have, right now. Every time you take one more step forward, the world shifts a little closer to the person you're becoming. And the moment you finally decide that there's no going back, that's the moment life opens up. The fear fades. The doubt quiets, and the power within you roars awake. This isn't motivation, it's truth. You were never meant to live a small, quiet life. You were meant to expand, to evolve, to set your own soul on fire, and let it light the way for others. So rise now, not someday, not when you feel ready, but now, because this is the moment everything changes, and deep down, you know it.